We're going to discuss the Bible, our sole rule of faith. Have you ever wondered, I'm a teacher, why do I need to know more about the Bible? Well, let's address it this way. Have you ever wondered why there are so many jokes about boring preachers and tiring sermons about the Bible? Some might blame it on a lackadaisical generation who just only wants to be entertained. Others might say, well, it's just because we live with people who are just flat out carnal. While some of these beliefs may have a nugget of truth, usually they're crutches for people who are afraid to acknowledge the unmentionable. Maybe we are not conveying our passion for God's Word effectively. How could someone be uninterested in a book that is full of adventure, failed love, profound love, sinister hate, devious plots, governmental intrigue, timeless leadership principles, an incredible proven history, timeless questions, and oh yeah, salvation? You see, the example of Jesus shows us that teachers must know the material so well that they embody it, therefore relaying it through passion. That's why we need to continually seek to know the Bible more, both theologically and understand it sociologically. If you understand how the Bible came to us, then it's easier to have faith in God. If you know that the Bible truly only has one message, it's easier to displace the cloud of confusion that so many comes around our minds and the minds of our students. If you can know that there's a difference between timeless truths and cultural traditions, then you can discern the difference between temporary beliefs and God's eternal message. This chapter is going to deal with how we've received the Bible, and it's been broken up into 3 separate sections that you can play through continuously or stop for a short break in between. I'm going to first address an origin of the Bible. I'm going to address interpreting the Bible, and lastly, give a quick overview of the Bible. In order to do that, remember, I'm going to give you some terms in the very beginning, and remember that these terms are for better understanding, not to show how brilliant we are. Remember, the goal of teaching is to make the complex simple. If you do not accomplish this, you are not teaching. So look for the application for the learner within every section of this material. This next section is called the origin of the Bible. The terms to know for this section are Pentateuch, which is a Greek word for the first 5 books of the Bible. The next word is called Septuagint, which means it's literally the Greek translation of the Old Testament. Thirdly, it's called the Tanakh. The Tanakh is the Jewish Bible, which is the Christian Old Testament. The fourth term to know is Torah, which literally means law or constitution for the Jewish people. And the final word is canon, literally the accepted standard. Jewish canon, Christian canon, biblical canon, Catholic canon. There is an open canon, which says books can be added to the Bible, and a closed canon saying that the Bible cannot be added to anymore. These are the terms that you need to know. Some try to debate the claims of the Bible and point out that the Bible is a translation of a translation of an interpretation of an oral tradition. While this statement is partially true, usually it's stated by people trying to undermine the credibility of the Bible. The best way to address these concerns is not to argue about them, but to know the timeline of how the Bible came into our existence. You see, the Bible is God's letter to humanity, collected into 66 books written by 40 divinely inspired authors that span over 1,500 years or more. The goal of this section is to show the timeline in which God's message came into fruition. A brief overview of the Bible will be given later in this chapter. Canon is a standard by which a group agrees upon. For Christians, canon is what the books of the Bible we have agreed to accept as usable. It's important to note that there are different canons based upon different Christian traditions. The Catholic, Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, Ethiopian, Latter-day Saints all have canons that have minor differences even from the Protestant canon in which we use. We as Apostolic Pentecostals widely accept the Hebrew Bible